Hey, one of our favorite things is that we get emails into this program, whether it's from an author or a celebrity or a. This time we got a shareholder that emailed.
I believe so.
Ooh.
Yes,
From a
sir.
company called Janover. The company's name's Janover, and we got Blake Janover.
How about that?
That's important, man. Let me tell you something.
Yep.
He is the founder and CEO of a company called Janover. We're going to talk about AI, and it seems to be the topic that we talk about the most here. What's interesting is the Fed Reserve is now talking about using AI. You know what the Fed Reserve is tasked with? Is keeping interest rates low, employment high, and prices stable. And that's right off their website. Federal Reserve is not any federal organization. By the way, it's overseen by Congress. Again, I would argue that people should pick up the book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, to realize what a scam it is. Because if they're borrowing for the last 5 years, other than the last 2 for inflation, they're borrowing money from the discount window at 0%. When's the last time you had a 0% car, credit card, or mortgage?
It's been a bit.
Okay. What if I told you that the Federal Reserve was owned by the banks that use it? Right? That's why AI is coming into. That's why it's so important to talk to guys like this. Blake Janover joins us here via Zoom. Blake, thanks so much for putting up with us and waiting for us to talk about Jake Malkowitz, aka Travis Kelce. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you for having me. Creature from Jekyll Island, from Jekyll Island, great book. I also recommend it.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist either, but it's just one of those things where if you think in terms of what people think the Fed Reserve is and what it is, it's a scam. I mean, it's just, we could resolve this thing.
Whose money is it is what I want to know.
Well, you know what? That's the question, isn't it? You know, and we're the least dirty shirt in the hamper when it comes to things like this, like quantitative easing and stuff. Hey, Blake, tell us about your business. We heard a lot of great things about you.
Sure. So again, thank you for having me on the show. Very cool. Core business is a marketplace for multifamily and commercial mortgages. So we connect commercial real estate owner-operator developers with banks, credit unions, REITs, debt funds, and what have you across America, like a matchmaker for commercial loans.
So give me an example of soup to nuts. Give me a transaction from start to finish and kind of explain how everything works.
Sure. I'm building a $10 million apartment building. I currently have a relationship with 2 or 3 banks, but the reality is that there's 10,000 banks and credit unions and tens of thousands of other lenders. And you could walk into a bank and have 2 guys in the same branch that have 2 different products and one doesn't know what the other is. So for us, we're aggregating the entire lender side of the market. So a borrower can come onto our portal, he could talk to our AI, or he could fill out kind of a fully digital application, and he gets matched with somebody on our team to kind of take him through the whole process digitally, set up their kind of like dating profile. Not to tie it so much to Tinder, but in some ways.
I think you should say Bumble, because Tinder's like the Opelika, Alabama of dating apps. I mean, Tinder's like the Elsinore of dating apps. A
little bit.
Let's call it Bumble.
It's got a little farm date to
it does. It's like
Hinge.
Yeah. When the career says
Hinge.
sister/fiance, maybe move to the next dating app. I got a question for you, Blake.
Yeah.
Based on what you're saying here, this is as disruptive and tip of the spear as maybe digital currency and the blockchain. If you can deploy what you're saying, you're going to create liquidity in a business that is so desperately in need of liquidity. Am I assuming that correctly, or am I missing the point?
No, you're saying it better than me. So
Well,
if you're,
I am a very famous talk show host, and you're just a CEO. Go ahead.
If you'd like to run IR, I have a home for you. Look, you're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar market with the folks at the top are super incentivized to keep the market opaque, to keep information asymmetric.
Hence the mortgage crisis 10 years ago or whenever, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
that's a great
which
point.
which was a function of residential, and now we've got real challenges in commercial, and the real solve for it. Interest rates are really important, but the real solve for it is if we could bring real liquidity to the entire market, an actual marketplace for commercial mortgages. The same way the NASDAQ and the NYSE have market makers, we aim to become that market maker for multifamily and commercial real estate finance.
His name is Blake Janover. He is, his company's name is, as it turns out, it's a coincidence, had nothing to do with it, Janover. Founder and CEO. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol JNVR. Here's what's interesting about this, is that this, because of the commercial illiquidity for commercial real estate, which I believe was exacerbated by COVID when everyone went home.
Yep.
Now you've got buildings that are turning into condos and whatever. Talk to me about the next 5 years in terms of when companies start getting back to work in the ways that we were back to work prior to COVID, because as you can see, even investment banks now are saying, okay, enough of this at-home workplace, enough of this mobile work. I mean, it's coming back in the favor of commercial lending. Does that just help your addressable market and your bottom line?
Everything else. I mean, listen, we're so small coming into such a big market with such an innovative opportunity that everything, kind of leans in our favor. So just to answer your question about the next 5 years, specifically about office, and I just want to say for a second, we're general commercial, so multifamily, retail, industrial, self-storage, we're all the basic food groups. Office is interesting. So I don't want to make a specific prediction, but what I'll say is that we're a tech company. We build AI applications. We've built our entire backend from the ground up with an engineering culture. And we do have remote workers, but we over-index for having people here in the office in our Boca Raton headquarters. Innovation happens at a faster clip. Culture is more powerful in person. And I really think that nothing is ever as good or bad as we think it's going to be. So I don't think it's the end of office or the end of New York or the end of San Francisco, but things change as we evolve as a species.
I also think that you're getting in at the exact right time. I mean, think about it. I mean, your path to liquidity at this point in the arc of that story, whether it's commercial, residential, as you say, storage spaces, because the industry got flopped on its side just 3 years ago. I think you couldn't be in a better place. Will you come back on the air with us? I would love to talk to you for an hour. I think it's really interesting. And we never got
Anytime, any day.
I want you on next week. We never even got to talk about the AI partnership.
Right. We didn't even get to it.
All right. Blake Janover, founder and CEO of Janover, JNVR.
Thank you for having me.
Bringing AI to the world of real estate lending. Smarter deals for all.
Yeah.